If you are a Christian and you put God first every day, hit that subscribe button. Stop forcing. What belongs to you will come at the right time. How many times have we tried to push doors open, to make things happen in our own strength, only to end up frustrated, tired, and disappointed? But today, I want to remind you of something. God's timing is perfect. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Not in your time, not in my time, but in His time. So if you believe that putting God first brings clarity, I want you to write in the comments right now, God first. Because when you put Him first, you stop forcing what was never meant to be, and you start trusting in His perfect plan. Asterisk. Section 1. God's timing is always perfect. Isaiah 60:22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." We live in a world of instant gratification. We want success overnight, answers immediately, relationships instantly. But God doesn't operate on instant delivery. He operates on eternal timing. Look at Abraham and Sarah. They waited decades for the promise of a child. They tried to force the promise through Hagar, and it brought pain. But when God's time arrived, Isaac was born, the true child of promise. This teaches us what comes from forcing will always lead to frustration, but what comes from God's timing will always lead to fulfillment. If you're ready to wait on God's timing, type in the comments, God first. Declare it as an act of faith. Asterisk. Section 2. Forcing brings burden. Trusting brings rest. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Whenever you try to force something that isn't God's will or isn't God's time, you carry a burden you were never meant to carry. That's why it feels heavy. That's why you lose peace. But when you surrender, when you trust, suddenly the burden lifts. Psalm 55:22 says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you." So let me ask you, are you carrying something heavy today because you're forcing it? Maybe a relationship, a job, an opportunity. If that's you, take a deep breath, release it to God, and write in the comments, God first, because His rest is better than your struggle. Asterisk. Section 3. Closed doors are a blessing in disguise. Revelation 3:7 says, "What He opens, no one can shut, and what He shuts, no one can open." When a door closes, our natural reaction is to panic. We think we failed. But many times, that closed door is God's protection. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. It looked like rejection, but in reality, it was redirection. God was positioning Joseph to become a ruler in Egypt. So maybe the door that slammed in your face was God saving you from heartbreak. Maybe the job you didn't get was God preparing a better assignment. Don't cry over closed doors. Celebrate them because they prove that God is guiding you. If you've ever seen God use a closed door for your good, write in the comments, God first, and let's testify of His faithfulness. Asterisk. Visual idea. One door closing, another opening to a brighter light. Section 4. Patience is the proof of trust. Psalm 27:14 says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord." Waiting is not wasted time. Waiting is training time. God builds character in the waiting. He strengthens your faith in the waiting. Think about David. He was anointed king as a teenager, but he didn't sit on the throne until years later. In between, he fought giants, ran from Saul, and learned to lead. The waiting was not punishment, it was preparation. What if the thing you're waiting for isn't delayed? It's simply in development. What if God is working behind the scenes to align everything for your good? So while you wait, don't complain. Worship. Don't force. Trust. And if you're choosing patience today, type in the comments, God first. Asterisk. Section 5. God's promise will not fail. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "For the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hastens toward the goal, and it will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it will certainly come, it will not delay." What God promised you cannot be stopped by man, cannot be delayed by the enemy, and cannot be destroyed by time. The enemy wants you to doubt. He wants you to give up in frustration. But every seed God planted will bloom in its season. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." So don't force it. Don't quit. Don't lose heart. Your due season is on the way. If you still believe in God's promise for your life, I want you to declare it by writing in the comments, God first. Because those who put Him first will never be put to shame. Asterisk. So remember this, stop forcing. What belongs to you will come at the right time. God's timing is perfect. Forcing brings frustration, but trust brings peace. Closed doors are blessings in disguise. Patience proves your faith, and God's promises will never fail. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to stop striving and start trusting. And throughout this week, every time you feel tempted to force something, whisper these words, God first. So let's fill the comments right now with faith. Write God first, and let's declare together that we trust His timing, His ways, and His plan. Because with God, what is meant for you will find you, and it will be beautiful in His time.